welcome to Not in ShawScope, the videocast. Videocast?
Apparently, you can call it a. I found out after many, many months of conditioning myself to no longer call it a podcast. Turns out you can call it a podcast.
Well, everyone does seem to still call them podcasts. Yeah.
Doesn't seem right to me, but
So back to the subject at hand. For what seems to be the 12th month in a row, we are still discussing Justice Bow films, and more notably Cat versus Rat films. And this time around, we have got Invincible Constable from 1993. We have got Cat and Mouse from 2003, and Invincible Constable as well from 2022. As a special bonus, thank you, Clive, we've also slung an unrelated Anthony Wong film.
Yes.
Called Ungrateful Tink.
Yes.
From 1999. But when we get to it, we're going to have a conversation about the year of that.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
Although too. Yes, I genuinely can't for the life of me remember why that was thrown into the mix. But it doesn't matter, it's there.
I think because Anthony Wong's in it and he's in two of the other.
Yeah, it was an Anthony Wong link.
Talking about.
No, I don't think it would have been that. I think there was something else. I think there was a reason I'd stumbled across it. I was so amused by the title that we thought.
But also if I'm not mistaken, actually I might be mistaken. No, I'm not. Yes, I am mistaken. Yeah.
There we go.
I am actually mistaken for the link
it's
that
nice
I thought it was.
It's nice to see someone be mistaken in real time.
It is, yeah. Well,
it's like seeing the Aurora Borealis or something like that.
At least we're not recording.
Well, we are,
and hoovering up all these mistakes. So anyway. So,
sorry, I was confused. I thought for a minute you genuinely didn't think we were.
No,
to tell you.
I didn't know.
Speaking of which, by the way, Darren, your name is not coming up as your name.
Oh, thank you. Hello, Geraldine. It's all right. She never watches these.
Okay.
She's got some. She thinks that we are in fact ridiculous, and this is pointless, and she is 100% correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No question.
Yes. Just off stage, my wife, who is feeding our cats, is now pissing herself laughing at probably because she agrees.
Yes.
We should get the three of them together and they could have their own podcast where they just talk about fucking time you spend
not
paying attention to them.
Wives of useless podcasters.
Yes.
That would be good.
Yeah, it's like but like it would be, and I'm sure it would be this polished, glamorous show where
Why?
And there's like graphics.
Nick's missus actually having a particular grievance because I can imagine her just kind of, for fuck's sake, how many Joe D'Amato films have I? I don't even like Joe D'Amato. Like, what's going on?
So here's a good survey, right? For we could have had this conversation offline, but I think it's actually quite fun to have it on the pod.
Yeah.
So today, so for this particular recording time that we have tonight,
yes,
we needed to watch 10 films, right?
Yep.
So we're recording 2 podcasts tonight, and we needed to have watched 10 films in order for us to discuss the 2 bits that we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
Did we watch any of them with our spouses?
I watched no, I don't think I watched anything front to back, but I did pull a few chunks out of a few of the Godfrey Ho films where there was particularly astonishing pieces of dialogue that I thought Jen would appreciate, and she did enjoy and we'll talk about that when we talk about those.
My missus has seen Robot Vampire before, so
yeah.
Darren,
but generally speaking, no.
These or?
No, I know Geraldine didn't watch any of these with me. I do remember showing her Anthony Wong in, and it must have been Cat and Mouse, where he had only a little bit of gravy browning on.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, I didn't want to inflict anything.
No.
further
I
than
think
that one.
once upon a time the answer would have been yes, just that, but that's just because we'd have been living on top of each other and the entertainment center would have been, you know, within.
Right.
Now that we have rooms and things, then you
Yeah.
So I think that's
and you can watch films on a commute now, for example. You know, if you travel by train, which is what I do quite a lot of the time.
all right. That's not part of my itinerary, but I believe Ron watches a lot of things that way as well.
I do it in the bath quite a bit. I set the laptop on the toilet and I sit back, and sometimes I run headphones. And when I don't run headphones, that's when Jen really has questions about what the fuck I'm doing or what I'm watching.
What's interesting about that is no, I was just going to say, what's interesting about that, because not many people, Nick is the only person I know, actually, I think, who actually commutes by bath.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. Well, there was me and there was Marat. I think Marat also mostly commuted by bath.
But that didn't end up well for him, so watch out. But it's
also, you know, Last of the Summer Wine vibes are happening.
That's what I was going to say.
Bath-related travel.
Nick's lucky because he lives at the top of the hill and his school's at the bottom. And
That's it. Yeah.
Getting home is a bit of a pain in the ass, but
yeah.
Anyway, Invincible Constable then.
Was it Sisyphus who had to push his bath back up a hill?
I think it was.
Yeah, right. Yes, okay.
Yeah. Right, okay. So
anyway, survey there, Darren. We learned.
I thought it was interesting. Yeah, I didn't watch any with Geraldine. You did ask me, and I didn't answer. But yeah, I didn't watch any at all with Geraldine this time.
You did answer, by the way.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
Yes, neither here nor there. Right. Okay.
So we're back to the 7 gallants and however many whatevers.
5 heroes, 7 gallants.
So yes, now I was looking online to actually purchase a copy of this novel, and I came across books titled Three Heroes, 7 Gallants, 3 Heroes, 8 Gallants, and 3 Heroes, 5 Gallants.
There's also 2 gallants, 1 cup, I found.
Yeah. It's quite shocking.
Yeah, that's just video though, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of reaction videos to that. Like of Justice Bow going.
Yeah. Apparently it's really, really gory.
Yeah, I haven't seen it myself, but
yeah. So anyway, so I was trying to find an affordable copy to read in English, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, no, I remember giving up on. I was looking for affordable copies as well, and the shipping was too much. But there's a couple of collections, I think, in English where Justice Bow stories have been. There's one called The Stone Lion, and another story, and it's part of. Because I guess it's. Well, judging by the amount of films based on it, it must be the it's like I suppose it's what Hound of the Baskervilles is to Sherlock Holmes, right? It's the one story that everyone knows related to Justice Bow.
Yeah.
It's funny though, even after watching how many versions of it now, I still don't quite 100% understand the story.
Okay, so let me lay it down for you.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Justice Bow, right? He's a wise judge.
Oh, I was hoping a beatbox would come on behind you there. Just before you began.
I would try and beatbox myself, but I'm completely incapable.
That's gonna end in don't do that.
That's no. I actually at work about 2 days ago, I inadvertently let myself do an American Italian accent.
Oh no. Was it like that Goodfellas pizza commercial?
Well, it was meant to be, but it kind of came out a little bit sort of Irish or something.
Right.
And it came out like a little bit like, you know, I should get the round of applause just for trying.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway,
The
that's
the David Brent is strong in you.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, although not the transphobia. That is let's lay
Yeah,
that down.
he's
Right
one of
now.
them. He's gone a bit weird, isn't he? As Ricky is.
He has. Yeah.
He hasn't quite gone full Linehan, but
Yeah.
No.
Jesus.
Yeah. But again, strangely, sort of same generation, aren't they?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and JK.
Yeah.
Well, they're all kind of
Yeah. Although, and this is a complete aside now, but although this week I have been watching, I thought I'd rewatch The Fast Show.
Oh yeah.
From 94. I hadn't realised it was 94 that
Yeah,
started.
first show, yeah.
So that's like 30 years old.
Yeah, wow.
No glaring clangers in terms of sort of anti-wokeness or things that aren't
stuff that hasn't
broken.
aged well.
Yeah.
No, it's
nothing.
Great show. I
Yeah.
rewatched it. It's funny as well. I was thinking about because you were mentioning we're going to be crazily talking about Forrest Gump on another show we're doing. I don't know if you've come across. There's a trailer for a parody Forrest Gump on the Fast Show. Cute disabled man.
Right, I'll watch that tomorrow morning before we get into the.
That's quite funny with Paul Whitehouse, I believe, walking around going, "I love you, I love you, I love you."
So anyway,
yes,
Invincible Constable from 1993.
Yes.
Directed by Chan Siu Chen, Benjamin Lee, Yen Shi Kwan, interestingly, is in this and having a fucking whale of a time.
Yes.
Cynthia Khan, oh shit, I can't read my fucking writing. Ken Wai, Anthony Wong, Mark Cheng, Alex Fong, and a few other people.
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's about it. Nice to see Cynthia Khan cutting the mustard because you forget about Cynthia Khan. You forget. So I had forgotten Cynthia Khan existed, and then instantly remembered how much I like Cynthia Khan.
Yeah, well, also it's Cynthia Khan kind of a little bit later on as well, isn't it? You assume like so it's nice to see. Oh yeah, she was still knocking about and doing things.
Yeah.
Plus, well, you tend to not think of her in terms of period.
Yeah. Well, and interestingly, she's making Blade of Fury the same year, which is another period film.
Oh yeah, that's true. And you don't think of her in that. You tend, when you think Cynthia Khan, you think urban, modern, angel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, righting wrongs with Michelle Yeoh and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Philippines, that kind of
Yeah. But yeah, lovely to see her there, and also just generally doing a good job. But yeah, I mean, my pleasure is largely derived from Yen Shi Kwan chewing up the fucking scene, doing chi magic kung fu.
So Yen Shi Kwan is kind of the villain of the piece, right? He's the power grabber who forces people to eat massive pork buns.
Yeah, which I didn't get until I got the whole joke about that Bao is like it's sin or like whatever sound alike, right? For bun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that scene almost came off like it was going to go in the direction of the Mr. Creosote scene in
the
Meaning of Life.
Yeah, because then there's this massive bun at the end of that sequence, isn't there?
Which is black. I noticed as well.
Yeah.
That's a sesame bun, so that's obviously a definite.
There's a little bit of creosote. I was surprised that recent film Babylon. Has, what's her face?
Margot Robbie.
Yes, doing the creosote.
Projectile
unexpected.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that film, by the way.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with that.
I almost enjoyed it. Bits of it. He's definitely like I like his films, and I understand why there's a buzz about him. He's a good filmmaker.
Yeah.
Patchy for me, but
yeah. I thought they. Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about that film
No.
today.
Yes.
Yeah. We've had enough. I've taken us on enough detours already. So yeah.
I've totally lost direction. I'm just wandering the country.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
So yeah.
Anyway, so Buns.
Yeah,
Buns he's kind of a warlord official kind of dude, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's the same basic power dynamic story, and the cats and the rats used in as we've come to expect. This for me, this one is worth the watch, but only if you stick with it, and it's a cumulative watch. And then when you get the final action sequence with Yen Shi Kwan and the bamboo and stuff on the beach, that's good. That's good stuff, I thought. Right?
Yeah,
it was worth with for that. Prior to that, though, it's a little bit of a slog to get. It's not too bad, but it definitely peps up, doesn't it, in that final, as a lot of Hong Kong films of this period do, actually. And earlier on, like, actually, right at the beginning, there's a bit, and then peppered through. It's funny. Sometimes you watch. This is a perfect example of a fit, like, straight up. There's a bit where the one of our main rat is Lam Wai, I think, right? Is he the
so it's Lee.
No, the rat, Lam Wai. He's like from the mainland guy, right? But he's in lots of TV in Taiwan, I think. Yeah, anyway, and he's creeping about, trying to break into this temple and stuff, and jumps into like this pot of water and stuff, and you're like, oh fuck, like this stuff is so, this action stuff, which is actually quite complicated and difficult to do, and you realize quite how effortless at this point, like the Hong Kong film industry had got to just doing stuff like this in their sleep. But you have to think about it, that if that was in another film, like if there was in a Hollywood film, for example, you'd think, fucking hell, that's production.
But that's
granted, don't you?
But even further than taking it for granted, it becomes annoying, right? Because you watch it, and it's my bias as kind of an old school kung fu fan, right? But you see the spinny flipping through trees bollocks, and you think, oh, it's another one of these, Yeah. When to your point, it's like, that shit takes talent as well, right? That is an incredible amount of work, and it's done really, really well.
It is.
In this version.
Yeah, but it's just a shit. When you see it, you think, why aren't you doing that the whole, like, I don't need this other, like, not very funny comedy and drama stuff, and like stick with that. So it's an odd thing when you're kind of getting annoyed at the film for doing what it's doing rather well. But no, but So Invincible Constable 93, I mean, it's an odd, you wouldn't recommend it, but at the same time you feel like you do want to highlight that finale, for example, because that's really good, like really good stuff, like very exciting, done well. I really appreciated that, but and plus you don't really want to watch it in isolation. That doesn't really make any sense. So I don't know.
I'm okay recommending this. I would say, of the three of them, it's head and shoulders, as far as I'm concerned, above the other two. I
quite like 2003 actually. I quite enjoyed that. But
fine. But of the three of them, this is the one that I definitely enjoy the most. Partly because of that ending. There's like at one point he even like magics up a whole sandstorm. And anytime two dudes are running around on a beach fighting with swords and shit, that's my wheelhouse.
Well, he like Yin Shi Quan at the end just arrives with an armada of ships.
Yeah, he's really. It's funny. It made me one of those things. We've had this before, Darren, on the Food shows sometimes when we watch something and then someone suddenly is foregrounded who normally isn't, and I have to make me think like, Yin Shi Quan. Like I know Yin Shi Quan, I've seen it, but I was like, maybe I should.
Yeah,
pay a bit more attention because.
Well, what is it? Which one is he in? Which Jackie? It's the Fearless Hyena, isn't it? I think Yin Shi Quan's the main villain.
Sounds about right, maybe. Yeah, but
but he's in loads of other 70s, 80s stuff.
You just tend to think of him as another face in the gallery, as opposed. To,
but he's done some. He's done some. No, but he's done some very good villain roles, and that's
exactly. And this is what reminded me of it. It's like,
exactly. Yeah. So I'm with Nick on this one. I would recommend this because it's made in this kind of heavily sort of over proliferated wuxia Chinese ghost story, once upon a time in China, new wave wire work kind of era. But it's got interesting things in it, right? So for me, on the one hand, you've got Yin Shi Quan discovering that his wife or his concubine is having adultery with someone, and then he puts his fist through her head, through the like through the veil of the bed. You've got the cat rat or the rat brothers business where one of them's just got a massive pair of scissors, and the other one's got this weird like fishing line that catches, that's like a ball and chain that he chucks in people's mouths, and so
I wondered if that was a cat toy. There's we've seen a few times.
I didn't think about that.
Where they use kind of cat toys to mock the imperial cat.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
They also introduced them all by having them firing shit pellets out of like blowpipes at sleek rat or blockaded rat, whatever
that's it. But also they've all got pages. So did you notice that the rats?
Thank you. Little squeaky mouse toys.
Yes.
I think it's unsophisticated.
You have just made this film sound a lot more enjoyable than it is to watch.
No, I had fun with it. I actually had fun with it.
I did too.
I did, but spottily. It's not consistently fun, is it?
I know what you mean. No. Yeah. It's not all balls to the wall. It's not all funny. It's not all mental. But I think there are enough nuggets in there, enough little islands to hop over that you get to the end without too much.
What's that game called? Rainbow Kids? Rainbow Islands.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So you do the little.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So I thought Cynthia Khan was very fetching as Ding, the Imperial Cat's love interest, and she apparently is an important figure in the book. Like she, in the story, she does eventually marry Zhang Zhao, the Imperial Cat, and which is interesting because in the next film they mash her into the brocaded rat and make them.
Sorry, that's Lamwise Cat. Rat is Benjamin Lee, isn't it? He's the.
Benjamin Lee is Rat, who reminded me a little bit of Lee Min.
Yeah, a little bit. He's a team guy. He was in the '98 Return of the Condor Heroes series. Not much Anthony Wong.
No, he's very sparingly used and kind of a bit of a boring role.
But we got that's the thing with Anthony Wong, isn't it? Is he's like. It's like I'm trying to think we're good at. It's like if you, I remember what was the film? There was a film with I can't remember who it is now. Like who was it now? This is good, isn't it? Old man something. But it was thing like someone had it was like I was watching a film with like Michael Moriarty or someone in, but it was like Michael Moriarty just playing like an office worker,
Mhm.
and you're thinking, well, don't do that. And I feel the same with like Anthony Wong. Like you're not
Yeah.
fully using your
You're not getting your
resources.
money's worth
No,
if
no,
you
no, no,
if
no.
you cast
Don't.
them in a boring side role.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
certainly like with the Jennifer Jason Leigh and anything. Why have you hired her to do that? That's Jennifer Jason Leigh. Like get someone else to do that. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's just it's always seems a bit of a waste of resources when you get Anthony Wong just playing someone
yeah.
extraordinary.
Well, it's like that. We were having this chat, and I don't think we've actually met up beforehand. Someone on Facebook had put a screenshot up of Red Dwarf from about 10 years ago, TV show Red Dwarf,
Mhm.
where inexplicably
Oh yes.
Richard Ng is in Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
watched
he's
it.
yes,
Yeah.
right, yes,
And I found it. I watched it. Well, I just watched that bit of it.
Mhm.
yeah,
And yeah, that's Richard Ng. And apparently he moved after the handover, presumably he moved to UK, and he just used to kick about like Nottinghamshire or somewhere.
right.
But and funnily enough, in the next podcast we're going to record, we're going to discuss someone who was in Ginger Snaps, of all things.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get to
Okay.
that. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But yeah, it's funny. It's also funny, like when you see Bruce Lee in Pieces, and it's like
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
trying
it's
to think,
like,
was
what the
Richard
fuck are you doing there?
was Richard Ng in did he pop up in like Casualty or The Bill or something? No.
I think he was in the bill.
Yes.
When I
Right.
looked it up, I think he was in the bill. Yeah.
That must have been for someone clued like back in the 80s, someone clued up enough who was like going to cinemas in Chinatown and stuff, and then got home and turned on the telly. And
No, but this is
Richard Ng
this is no. This is into the 2000s now. This is not
Oh
the
yeah,
80s.
okay.
2000s.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
why it wouldn't have registered then, because
No.
it's not.
Yeah. But anyway, isn't it fun? Just like
So he was
'cause
in crap Red Dwarf. He wasn't in good.
he was in the
Yes.
bar. Yeah. So
Yeah.
my yardstick is 1 to 6. Red Dwarf 1 to 6 is good.
Yeah, but it's funny though. It is one of those. Yeah. Hold on tight. Here's another tangent coming up, but that's another thing that hasn't aged as well as I thought. Like I went back and attempted Red Dwarf like a few years ago, and I was surprised. I don't know what I was expecting, but because the thing is, there's things that you like when you're a kid and you grow up, but the thing is, Red Dwarf was cool for everyone when it was cool. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like adults like Red Dwarf. It was like
Yes.
really considered like good. The first
Yeah.
you said 5-6 seasons or whatever.
Mm.
But no, I don't know. It might just be Red Dwarf does not. I don't know if either of you have attempted to go back to Red.
Haven't gone back.
Not recently, no.
You would. I think you would be surprised. You'd be like, oh, like I don't know. I think it must have been because it was such an interesting mix of relatively good science fiction and quite funny comedy. Then I think we must have because you don't get that mixture so much, right? So
Yeah.
but
Well, it's that and Douglas Adams, basically, isn't it? That's
yeah. And if you go
lot.
back to it now, it's very like, oh, this actually isn't particularly.
And did you go from series 1 upwards, or did you kind of randomly select? Yeah.
Yes.
I do remember like there was some weird shit going on with like Rimmer being all nuts and Craig Charles all of a sudden being like some sort of fucking action hero or something all of a sudden.
That was a bit later on. But and the first season as well it took a while to get going. I remember it.
Yeah.
There was
Mm-hmm.
But no, even like Prime, like before every other fucking episode had Dwayne Dibley in. It was no, I was surprised. Yeah. Give it a go and see how you get. It might just be me, but
yeah, it's on the list. It's on because it should work. Because it should work because Red Dwarf is basically Steptoe in space, right? That's what Red Dwarf is, in essence, with the cat, with Holly, right? That's the difference, right? So it should, in theory, it should work as well as Steptoe or Hancock, or it should be that kind of universal
Right. It's not like of a particular
no, exactly. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
We'll see. You may not want to tarnish your childhoods, and you might want to just enjoy the memory of it. But if you ever do give it a go, let me know how you get on with that, and bring it up in the middle of a podcast totally unrelated to it.
I will, yeah.
So, and the only other thing I've got to say about this is it's got quite a nice gory finale, which was, for most part, light-hearted kind of kung fu comedy. Suddenly it kind of goes balls to the wall. Really from that moment where the Imperial Tutor becomes a, flying man beast right near the end. But yeah, I was kind of pleased that it went gory.
That's another very Hong Kong circa 93 thing to do as well, isn't it? Is suddenly have just a bit of wild gore just at the very end of your film.
It's not made in 1993 if no one's got anything chopped off or broken limbs.
If they'd have made Friends in Hong Kong, they'd have been, as at the end of the episode, there'd have been someone having a
the one where Joey gets impaled.
Yes.
That's all I know about Friends. That's it. But there's an episode called The One That something. Yeah.
Worth saying as well that we had to watch this in. So there's a HD copy about, and then there's the old VCD which has the subtitles on, and comparing the two, it was interesting. This happens with Cat and Mouse as well when we get to it. The HD version is ever so slightly cut, but it's not cut for content. There was just like a few scenes on that. It seemed totally arbitrary and trimmed from the HD version that run a little longer in the VCD. And I suspect, if anything, it might just be print damage or something. Like that bit couldn't be restored, so rather they just chopped it out because it wasn't anything contentious or
I got on fine with the VCD though. I mean, the VCD was quality was fine.
You just watched the VCD, did you? You did.
I did.
Yeah.
Once I saw that it wasn't murky or fuzzy, or I was like, no, this.
Yeah, it's funny. I've noticed. It's one of those things that seems like obvious, but sometimes someone has to do it. I only just realized recently that the majority of people don't actually like watching side by side the same film in different windows, and I love it. I don't know why. There's something wrong.
I don't even know how to do it on my computer. So don't ever assume I'm going to do that, because I don't actually know how to do it.
Right. It's quite simple. But,
I know, but also I don't really want to do it.
Right? No, that's what I realized. I realized that most people think that's not a joy. That is what's known as a fucking hassle, and it is.
Yeah.
But somehow I get joy out of it because
I would not if there was violence or sex or nudity cut out of a version, I would be happy to watch side-by-side versions simultaneously. I would be okay with that. As long as I knew I was getting some juicy content.
Just basically, I missed my window. I should have been writing for Video Watchdog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I actually like doing that for some and I do it in my spare time and not get paid for it.
So, those days are gone. Yeah.
Not in my house, they're not.
So explain to me how Cat and Mouse 2003 would be better than Invincible Constable 1990.
No, hang on, you're putting words in his mouth. He didn't say that.
No, I'm asking you anyway. I'm not asking Darren, I'm asking you.
Well, I didn't say it either.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Can I, sorry, before we go on to Cat and Mouse. I put my hand up and then Zoom, like, no, there's a hand up on Zoom. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's
Can I do that?
No, I did that.
No,
I get rid of... How do I give it
If
to
I
that
can do
now?
it. No, Nick,
Oh,
give it a go.
no, hang on. There we are, look. No, wait. There we are. Now you can do it. No, keep it up. No, one at a time. One at a time, and then
this is looking increasingly like some sort of Elon
no,
Musk.
not Elon. No, not that way. No, not like that. Not my heart goes out to you. Not that one. Hand up,
Yeah,
palm open.
it's not working for you either. No, it's not working for me.
No.
Oh, maybe it's just oh well. Anyway, regardless,
This
is what it's Darren's Buddha's palm. I think
this is what 2025 last of the summer wine looks like.
So yeah, going back. I'm talking of racism. Going back to whatever the hell that was called, Invincible Constable 1993.
Yes.
We have got quite a brown Justice Bow there, haven't we?
Yeah, it's interesting as well.
Yes.
I think they've gone out of their way to make him look a bit what's his name?
Because that was kind of all right in the 60s. Well, it wasn't really all right, but it was more understandable.
Ching Mao, right? But it's some bloke called Fan Wai. I wrote it.
Yeah.
He's not in many things, but you can tell they're trying to make you think.
Oh yeah, no, he's a he's a Chin Miao lookalike. Yeah,
he's a bit Ching Miao.
But but he was quite dark, I would say, in makeup effects.
Yes.
But doesn't
a little bit too well. To be fair, I mean, there's Don't Give a Damn in about 96.
Getting into dangerous territory, Darren. You may want to backtrack a bit, or think carefully before you speak.
I'm talking about makeup effects, and I'm talking about.
But you were on the verge there of going into a weird kind of grading blackface, and I was thinking you might just want to step away from the whole.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Well, the point I was trying to make actually was this was slightly more acceptable, although still unacceptable in the 60s. But this is 93.
Yep.
And then I changed my mind because I realised that there's Don't Give a Damn. Yeah. But nonetheless, heavy use of makeup on Justice Bow.
Yeah, there we go.
Leave it at that.
Leave it there. Yeah. There we go. Good.
I'm leaving it there.
I'm not wrong though, but in the next film, does Andy Lau not actually call Anthony Wong Blackie in the subtitle?
Indeed, he does.
Yes, and he's not even that blacked up by comparison. I think to
there's some tanning has occurred.
Yes.
So this is Cat and Mouse, 2003, directed by Gordon Chan. So this seems to be, correct me if I'm wrong, this seems to be Andy Lau, and I'm not having a go at Andy Lau because I'm, I respect Andy Lau, if for nothing more than just being one of the busiest fucking film stars in the world at a certain point. Like, no one worked harder than Andy Lau, right?
Oh, yeah.
But is this not Andy Lau attempting and failing to be Stephen Chow?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure he failed.
Well, not him necessarily, but the film overall certainly doesn't.
Yeah.
It's because it's Stephen Chow for about a third of it, isn't it? And then it just becomes something a little bit more generic.
I mean specific. I don't even mean like nonsense. I forget low man's.
No. It is Stephen Chow.
He's like the only thing he doesn't do. He doesn't do that open mouth thing that Stephen Chow does, and that's But you could the timing that the sense of timing and everything is they're clearly because it's a Wong Jing thing as well, isn't it? But it was interesting. It was interesting to see that. Was because I don't think I'd seen. Maybe I'm sure other people were, because Stephen Chow was so massive. I'm sure plenty of people had a run at it, but I'm not overly familiar with the world of Hong Kong comedy of this time outside of Stephen Chow. So I don't know how many examples there are of, especially superstars who had their own thing going on. Like Andy Lau, it wasn't as if Andy Lau was an outsider who cash in on that Stephen Chow money. Like Andy Lau was already massive, right? So
that's a really good point. So the question should be really, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Who else was knocking off Stephen Chow?
Yeah.
And what ultra low budget films are there that we could watch?
Are you trying to extend this to another not? I think what you're trying to say, Darren, basically is, I wonder who the real cannibals are.
I wonder who the real low budget nonsense comedy people are.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting question, isn't it? And that's a world that is completely alien to us. Is Stephen Chow not? Because Stephen Chow is like, in this period particularly, or this period and a little bit later maybe. He's the top of Hong Kong. He's like what Sam and Michael Hoy were in the 70s. He's like the fucking king of
what we don't know, and maybe we don't want to know, is who are the 90s, 2000 Hong Kong's Carrot Tops and Paulie Shaws and that cunt from Freddie Got Fingered, whatever his name is. Those guys. Do we want to know? Do we need this information? Maybe not.
Tom Green.
Is it worth a look? Is it worth a little look though?
Aaron, don't tempt us. That's the devil's work you're doing right now.
Just double bill. Just two double bill. Just one double bill. That's all I'm asking.
I mean, I don't know who it was who said it, but there is that thing like when a horror film goes spectacularly off the rails and fails, it often becomes funny, right? Or when an action film goes off the rails, it can become funny or risible. But when a comedy film doesn't work, it's a kind of hell that like no other film can really touch, right? The pain.
Nick didn't enjoy Cat and Mouse.
Oh no, I didn't hate this. I just didn't think it was particularly great.
No, we should mention as well that to the companion. So this is the other thing as well, is each of these is we watched a whole bunch of these heroes and gallants things now, and there's a particular strain within of the romantic version as well, isn't it? We should.
Yes, this is also the House of Traps. This is the House of Traps.
Yeah.
Because at the end it gets very House of Traps mashed up with Indiana Jones.
Yeah. But it's very, very Indiana Jones. Hang on. When's Burning Paradise?
94. Yeah.
So this is before Burning Paradise.
No, this is 10 years after.
Yeah.
Sorry. Of course it is. Sorry. I was still in 93. Yeah. No, I didn't. But yes.
Well, that's part of the problem, though, Darren. Oddly enough, you've kind of accidentally put your fingers on it. There's automatically, by being 2003 and not 1993, this is less enjoyable. It was 1993.
Right, yeah.
It would have been almost exactly the same, maybe, but at the end there'd have been a really fucking awesome bit or some gore or something. But by the time we get to 2003, things have gone through the bland machine.
Blandifier.
Yes.
Agreed.
And it does have Chinese New Year blockbuster energy, doesn't it? Yes. It does have popcorn, Hollywood, throw all the stars at it, throw all the references at it, have some fireworks. Yeah, Chinese New Year.
It's not terrible by any means, but it's just I
think the biggest thing that makes it different than all the other versions we watched is the swapping out Sleek Rat's sex, right? That version. It's a cross-dressing. She actually looks quite a bit like in Shaolin Soccer, the mustache team. You may remember them. Yes. She looks like she's just come right off of
to be fair, not many women
rock the Van Dyke look that sexy
with the moustache and beard. To me, at least.
But the thing is the moustache was so unconvincing. It looked like just like some fake eyebrows, just eyebrows. upturned, by the way.
Mhm.
You know, like that villain out of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
Dr. Robotnik, I believe.
That's
is
it.
the
That's
That's
the
it.
one.
Yes,
Who
yes.
apparently is played by Jim Carrey in no more than 3 films, no less than 3
Right.
films.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of them, but you know.
No.
But
Well,
so
the
there's
funny thing about that as well is, wasn't Jim Carrey like, didn't Jim Carrey go into retirement or something?
yes, and then came
Like,
out to play
I'm
Dr.
only
Robotnik.
going to
He's
come out
come out, yeah.
to do something truly awesome, and it turns
Yes.
out to be Sonic.
Cash.
Maybe they are.
Cash.
I have a nephew who loves them.
Yeah.
Maybe if you like that kind of thing, maybe they're very good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, we're not our territory. So
No,
Mhm.
no.
Oh, and then what's his face? Also, isn't Ironhead from Shaolin Soccer is in this as well?
Yes.
yeah, there's a
they want.
few Stephen Chow faces in it, which just
And that just exacerbates things,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's an AIDS joke, which in 2000,
Yeah.
there is. Yes.
2003 seems
No.
fairly
Hong
late.
Kong kept
No,
this
Hong Kong.
joke- they were AIDS joke faithful for a while.
They're still doing it now.
In hell.
There's AIDS jokes in Sakra, and in like that
Was
the
there?
Wall film. No, there's not.
Oh, okay.
No, to my knowledge, there are no current
There's a-
AIDS jokes
That
in
is
any
that
current
is a
Hong Kong
monograph
films.
for someone to write, though. When did the AIDS joke start
Yeah.
phased out of Hong Kong?
That would be a good PhD project
Yes,
for some
yes.
some
I
film
think this
students.
is
to do,
definitely
wouldn't it?
probably one of the later ones,
Yeah,
especially for a big film like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's good action. There's very good traps in it. Is what I would
Yep.
say.
Yep.
Right at that end, it's blow darts. There's big wheel boulder things.
Yep.
There's spikes coming out the wall.
I think that's the thing, isn't it?
I'm on board with that.
For a comedy, it's got surprisingly good action, and for an action film, the comedy isn't too bad. But it's supposed to be an action comedy, and it's all supposed. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing. It doesn't excel at it. It's just a bit bland and unmemorable. I will not remember anything about this film.
No,
from now, other than do you remember that film where Andy Lau tried to be Stephen Chow?
Yeah,
that would be my main takeaway.
And actually, it does a big disservice to Anthony Wong as well, because Anthony Wong as Justice Bao, that's like the holy grail of Hong Kong cinema, right?
That should be a series, shouldn't it? That should be a series. That should.
It should be memorable, but he's great in everything he does.
Yeah,
right. But he's not even particularly memorable as Justice Bao.
Well, for me, there's a very telling bit as well in the end bloop. And again, I'm extrapolating something that probably didn't happen out of this, but still, print the legend and all that. I've taken this away, so I'm going to use it as an example, even if it's... So at the end, during the end credits, you have the usual blooper reel, right, of particularly funny things happen and cast members cracking up. You said 3 eggs, you should have said 2 eggs. Production must halt for the next 30 minutes while
close up on the actor going
and you can now, after years of experience, there's a crew was seething like, for fuck's sake, get on with it, I want to get home, but there's one where I can't remember, someone's acting opposite Justice Bao and says miss, and they go, and Anthony Wong is just going like, just that's not that funny, mate. Like, And for me, that's that told me everything. Like, everyone else had a whale of a time, kind of self-indulging, and Anthony Wong's like, fuck's sake, what am I doing? Now, I have no evidence for this. Maybe a few seconds later, Anthony Wong burst into laughter, and was. But I like to think that this is a telling a little detail.
Yeah. I mean, I think we are simultaneously being quite harsh on this when it's a good or decent quality film.
But this
Right?
kind of throwaway thing, yeah. There's
Yeah, but that's the point of
to be
it.
talking about. Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, but the point of the film is throwaway, right?
Yes.
Probably because it's a blockbuster for a particular season, of the cinema.
Yeah.
Andy Lau's always classy, right? Andy Lau's always good in everything he does. Cecilia Chung is nice. Anthony Wong is good.
Yeah.
There's lots of traps. There's decent action. It's fine. It's all right.
It's a bit like if someone had a wank into a tissue and then discarded it, and then you came along and started reviewing it as like a garment that someone had to wear. Look at this. It's got holes. There's cum on it. This is not fit.
Oh, right, okay. Right. Okay. So, no.
Not the best analogy in the world, but
no. In fact, I think that is better for Ungrateful Tink.
Right.
Which we're going to get to shortly.
But
although actually, I'm just as I'm thinking about it, to break the fourth wall.
Yes.
I am actually thinking maybe we should do 2022 and then Ungrateful Tink. Is that what the rest of it?
Well, that's
that was the plan.
I feel as if, judging from a few things you've seen, you've both said here and there, I suspect I'm going to be the lone voice here, and I'm going to swing into the defense of Invincible Constable 2020 because I quite enjoyed it.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Right.
I'm just gonna say.
No, I don't have a thesis about why, but I'm just saying I'm
interested to hear.
Should we reconvene in a moment because I think we're just about to get chucked off.
We've got 8 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go on then. Yeah.
So I was gonna say the one thing I kept thinking about when I was watching this film was if the Cat versus Rat from 1982 or whatever, the one that's got Fu Sheng in it.
Yeah, this is right. Yeah.
If he had ended the film by marrying and having sex with Adam Cheng, I think it would have made that film far more interesting. So something we could learn from this.
Good for them. Good for them.
So this one is and this is a bit tricky you have to look about on a bunch of different for some reason this doesn't turn up on, or I couldn't find it on IMDb, which is so this is a thing. So we've discussed this a few times in the past, so we don't go into too much detail, but in case anyone out there is not aware, and this is probably something that might actually go under a lot of people's radar unless you're particularly interested in Chinese cinema or Asian cinema, but over the last, I don't know, must be getting close on a decade, at least the last 5 years, there has just been a torrent of films out of mainland China. Specifically, I think this might be a little bit different. We'll get to that in a bit, but like predominantly aimed at the online market, right? Like QE, however you pronounce that, and other online channels. And it's quite remarkable how many of these films are being made. Like there's so many of them being made, and often in this wuxia, fantasy or action, and there's just there's so, like, for instance, I have no idea how many Monkey King related films they've made in the past. Like it's just dozens and dozens of them. And then there's that Candle in the Tomb, Tomb Raidery, like Jones.
Yeah. Well, and to interrupt you for a second, Clive. These films have got budgets as well.
Yeah,
right? These aren't shot on video.
No.
Really bad CGI.
No.
These are
reasonably
proper,
I mean, I think they are probably kind of like
the mid budget.
Yes, or at least very slick at the very least.
Yeah.
And then, for instance, in relation to this, because I think this is where this is coming from, there was, of course, the big hit Detective D Hong Kong films, and there's countless Detective D like period action. Like, so this one is clearly, it's Detective D territory, right? Especially when you have the people bursting into flames and stuff like that. That's straight out of the. But yeah, so it's worth. There's so many of these films, and like to keep up with them is just fucking. I don't know if there's someone out there actually watching them all. I mean, I dip my toe in. I try and watch all the giant creature ones, like huge tarantula, giant squid, massive spider. There's loads of them, and they're all rubbish. But I can't.
I was not aware. This is news to me that there are giant squid.
It's kind of like
and tarantula.
Yeah, once upon a time, anything creaturey like that, I would watch anything, and then the Asylum and sci-fi
Sharknado, and
they spoiled that, and I was like, no, I don't have to watch all of these anymore.
No.
And now there's this generation of mainland ones, which are still rubbish, but they're obvious. I'll watch them. I'll watch Rising Boas at the girls' school, for example, because I was hoping my boa would get a rise out of it. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much, tip your waitress. So this is so this is one of that's the kind of backdrop for, like, you don't see this, doesn't matter, there's another 5 along tomorrow kind of thing, right? So I think that's worth keeping in mind, that this is constant just torrent of stuff. Yeah.
And I mean, I couldn't help but notice that this is the second film featuring like these characters, right, that we've seen that's been made relatively recently, that basically has this whole Scooby-Doo thing going on.
Yes.
Right? The one we watched with the poison gas to give everyone hallucinations, werewolf shit that we watched last time, and now we're slap in the middle of that territory again here.
Yeah, and I will guarantee you we've missed another 6.
Oh yeah, I'm coining the phrase "pretty boy procedural" on these.
Okay, nice. No, I like it.
Yeah, that's where I'm landing on that.
Yeah, I think because what you're saying is us pretty boys are watching them. And
that's it, exactly. Yeah. Although I'm much more a Father Brown.
Okay.
Much more Father Brown mysteries.
That's Bow.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've never. Father Gravy Browning.
Yes.
Justice Gravy Browning. That's it. I have never seen that show. I hasten to add, but it just sounded funny in the moment.
Doesn't that have what's his face, who was in the first episode of Red Dwarf in it? He's also in the Harry Potter film.
Who? Richard Eng?
Yes, that's the one. No. A big, tall English gent. He plays Ron Weasley's dad in the Harry Potter films. That fella. Anyway, never mind.
No, I saw all of the Harry Potter films once and never had any desire to go back.
I have exactly the same. I saw all the Harry Potter films once, and nothing against them. They're perfectly fine.
Fine, yeah.
Fucking remember nothing about any of them. And what's amazing to me is people make references and I don't get them, even though I've watched the films.
It's
just remember there's a bad guy called Voldemort and he does have a nose. But then every now and again people say to me, they're like, that's a bit Captain Crinkly, or I don't know. And
or they'd say something like, you're a...
I wish there was a character called Captain Crinkly in the Harry Potter film.
You're a Horcrux for this and Quidditch.
They've put the funky ring spell on him.
That's the one. That's the one.
I don't remember that thing.
Yeah, I need a time turner for my fanny.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
I'm amazed how many accurate Harry Potter references I came up with there.
Yeah, that's a bit.
I think they're all actual things.
I think yours were all real ones. Yes.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah.
Captain Crinkly isn't in.
I'm not aware.
No, it's Captain Crinkly until you put the Horcrux in the fanny, and then it reverses the time.
Ah.
And then it becomes smooth.
Right.
and then it turns into Voldemort, which
The
is
only
why
thing
he
I
hasn't
know
got
for sure
a
about
nose.
those films, yes, like there's a flux capacitor in them. I remember that.
That's
Yes.
it. That's
Yes.
it. Yeah, and they put the ghosts in the little box.
So there we go. We just had a nice little break there. We had tea and biscuits.
Oh, yes.
Of the eyes. No, thank you, Ted.
No, thank you, Ted. Yeah.
So where were? Oh yeah. So I was saying, yeah. So there we go. Invincible Constable 2020. You're quite right. Pretty boy procedural, and we've seen a few of these now, and a few of them we got on a bit better than with others. But as came up before in conversation, I think we some of these, they're not for us. They're not designed for us, right? So that. So, for instance, we watched one in particular. I can't remember which one now, but it leant very heavily on the romance angle, right? And that's just we weren't interested, right?
Yeah.
Now you could argue that this one as well, in a weird kind of under the radar way, is coded even more romantic, or as romantic in a way, right? It's quite the homosocial piece. However, that's such a this is all about the mystery and the action and the stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I actually thought it was kind of quite well done, because it didn't faff about with that stuff.
Well,
so even though everyone was very made up, and it was like, yeah, it was like a music, and feel very much of it, and the CGI and stuff was very CGI heavy, and it all taking place in Candyland. But it was a consistent, hermetically sealed Candyland, and I was able to just go with it, and I quite enjoyed it.
It certainly doesn't have a bloated running time. I'll give it that.
No,
I was impressively tight in that way.
Sorry,
I was happy.
That's another thing a lot of these films we were saying have in common, which is another thing which endears me, or which makes watching a whole bunch of them easy, as they're over and done. They're all run about 70 minutes is actually quite standard. Like a 90 minutes one would be considered. That would be like, oh, that's a bloated running time, you know.
Yeah, I struggled with 71 minutes on this one. I have to say. Yeah, it's because it's completely predictable. There are no surprises.
No.
It's filmed. We mentioned Michael Bay earlier in our chat. It is this particular one is filmed as if Michael Bay had done it, with slow-mo flying rat rescuing children from explosions.
That final scene is actually hilarious, though. That scene, it's so bad.
Yeah, is it though? Is it hilarious?
I don't know. I know hilarious. It's just, but it's yeah.
I think that it would have been hilarious were it not made 2 years ago.
Yes, yeah. No, it's more worm-inducing than anything else.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, you're doing that? Okay, yeah, all right then.
No,
and why are you doing that?
This works for me as well, because it's straight up. There's no irony. It even ends, right? It even ends, and I appreciated this. It ends with a perfect He-Man freeze frame.
Yeah.
Which gave me a smile.
Yeah. And there's one thing I did like about this, and it's something you don't see films made about these days, or ever actually, is this is a film all about phosphorus.
Yes, that's true.
It's all about the element phosphorus.
Yes.
Which apparently ignites when exposed to water.
It does. Phosphorus is very cool. I remember phosphorus from chemistry class.
It's the opposite, isn't it, when removed from water?
No. So phosphorus
seems to be suggesting that it'll blow up if it gets wet.
Because I remember when in science class in school, there was an element the teacher had, and he had it in a bottle in water, and when he removed it, it immediately started reacting with oxygen.
No, that's because it was in oil, not water.
Oh, is it oil, is it? Oh, okay.
So they keep it in, they have a little brown bottle and
Yes,
it's
yes,
got
yes.
oil in it.
Yeah.
And then when they remove it and brush the oil off, that's
It
when it
was
starts
always a
reacting.
treat when Dickem, shout out to Dickem, although I'm sure he's dead, and actually he was an horrible git, and he looked like
Yeah,
Alvin
yeah,
Stark.
yeah.
That's a terrible shout out, Clive.
Yeah. It was always fun when he he was like, there was two teachers in my school who were considered like a bit mean, and yes,
Mhm.
he was like proper like shoving kids around and
Oh yeah.
yeah. It was a different era.
We had plenty of them in Ireland in the 80s for sure.
Yeah, well, to be fair, you took it a stage further as well in some places.
Mhm.
But anyway, those were, yeah, that was different times.
Yeah.
We straddle the thing, isn't it? The weird about being just this generation is you remember this, but you're still expected to embrace the new world. We're not old enough yet to get away.
Yeah.
So
Well, I remember, so technically, because I think Nick, I'm not sure, I can't remember if you're my age or slightly older or
I think
slightly younger.
I'm 49 and I'll be turning 50 in May.
Oh, there you go. So you're a year older than I am.
Yeah.
So so I remember being a very, very young child and seeing the cane that was only just outlawed
Yes.
just above the blackboard and having
Yep.
the teacher point to the cane and say, see that? We're not allowed to use that anymore. But if you're naughty,
I'd fucking
you're
love
still...
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a literal thing that happened. But yeah, I remember they were rough, the teachers were still ruffians and they would still would still get grabbed and shaken about.
Yeah. And actually thinking, not saying it, but see that, we're not allowed to use that anymore. But every time I look at it, I get an erection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in Ireland,
would be every time I look at you.
Technically, in Ireland,
Thanks,
corporal punishment was, by the time I was in school, it wasn't supposed to be happening. But my parents were of the generation where they were like savagely beaten, right?
Yeah.
I had relatives who had like fucked up fingers and stuff from having, meter sticks smashed across their hands and stuff. But when I was in school, technically that was supposed to happen. But the only people in the school who couldn't get with the times at all were the Christian Brothers. So the lay teachers, the ones who weren't
famously ahead of the times.
Yeah.
Humbly.
The ones who actually had the white collar and the black robes. Yeah, they one of them broke a pool cue across the boy's back while I was at school. I got grabbed by the hair and dragged down like on my ass along the hallway at one point by the vice principal. I mean there was a guy
like what the cavemen used to do with their mates.
Pretty much, yeah. In fact, we had brother
Nick
Cornelius.
was pretty when he was younger.
Yeah, I was.
You had a brother Cornelius.
Yes, there was there was brother Cornelius was when I was at secondary school.
He does sound like a cool bloke though.
He was fucking.
I'd love to have a brother Cornelius.
He was a shaved ape in a cassock, basically like a gorilla, and his job, I think, he was fucking bouncer because he didn't teach anything. He was just on the schoolyard, and if he saw two kids fighting, he would get in there and beat the shit out of both of them so badly that they wouldn't be getting in a fight again. That was
I see.
So while we're on tangents, I just wanted I brought up a list of this is just some of the list of recent, like within the past 5-6 years, recent direct to streaming, I suppose you'd call them, mainland films, right? And they just titles, right? Because some of the titles are quite good. You got Earth Rescue Day, Evil of the Rat. You have Antique Strategy in the Battle of Longby, The Big Monster.
Yes, I'm interested.
Butcher, the Chef and the Swordsman, Chang Cheng Ghost Stories, The Case of the Four Demon Coffins, Deadly Treasure Hunt, The Demon Suppressors, West Barbarian Beast, a whole bunch of Detective Ds, including Detective D, Thunderbolt Black Dragon, Dragon Hunting Mystery, Fights Break Sphere, which is a great title, a fight that actually breaks the sphere. That's off the hook. And there's 3 of them. That's a series. Green, yeah, Hot Blood. Yeah, there's loads of them, and they all sound great.
Does every one of them have a supernatural element that's then debunked? Because
Well, yeah, it has to be because it's Chinese, right?
Yes, communist
Unless
China.
it's,
Yeah.
I think if it's wuxia, if it's fantasy stuff, that's all right.
Yeah. You
Not
might be all
ghosts.
right with a ghost
Yeah.
story.
No,
Yeah,
ghosts.
but-
Ghosts, you can't. Ghosts. That's the one thing, you're not allowed to have ghosts. So any supernatural film out of mainland China will have a very quick bit of exposition at the end, like
Okay.
which
Has
is like,
to be the caretaker.
yeah, or
Yeah.
like, you can actually do a full-on ghost. Everything could be supernatural, but at the very end, if you have a character go, oh, I banged my head and I dreamed all that, then it's fine.
Right.
But you have to have something like that in there.
And this one actually does have like literally an unmasking, right? There's like a guy who wears makeup and then to be Norman Bates, basically, right? So that's
but he's like, but it's so fucking telegraphed. It's telegraphed from like 15 minutes into the fucking only hour and 10-minute film.
Yeah,
that he's been learning how to do makeup for years.
So I think that's the thing here, is maybe that's the reason there was a reason I was bringing up that context, is because I'm somewhat immersed in these films. I knew what to expect in that. Like, I knew this is going to be super telegraphed, predictable, bite-size candy, which isn't good for you, but gives you a little bit of a kind of... So expecting that and getting this, I was like, for that, this is... I've seen much worse, much more boring. But if you're expecting something more substantial, I can see why it would let you down.
I feel like the amount of skeletons in it might have skewed your perceptions, Clive.
I do like a skeleton.
I just want to say that I think there are at least 9 skeletons in this film, and I think that's put you into a skeleton frenzy, and perhaps you're not thinking clearly.
I've got skeleton blindness, is what I've
You have.
Here's another one: Mr. Zombie, the Venomous Parasite. Like,
nice.
That's a good title.
It won't be good, but still, I'd like that they at least I haven't quite got fed up of the bait and switch yet.
And this is the thing, I suppose, is that we are well, Nick and I, at least, I think, are old men shouting at clouds.
Yeah, pretty much.
The cloud being, hour and 10-minute polished pop star pretty boy procedurals, right? But that's a subgenre all of its own, and if it's a genre, even a subgenre, then it needs to be looked at, and there must be good and bad within it, right?
Yes,
that's my right.
Yeah.
However, I didn't enjoy this because I don't really like pretty boy procedurals. And in your defense, I haven't probably seen enough of them, but I've seen 3 or 4 of them.
But no, but it is a very... That's the thing. That's why it's fascinating to me, this whole thing, because there's so many of them as well. What's interesting is you can just pick and choose what's for you. So, like we were saying, some of the other ones I didn't get on with as well because they had more of the romantic element. I was thinking, well, the good thing in a way is it's a broad enough church that some people probably prefer those ones. So, and there's plenty of them for people as well. You can pick and choose romantic ones, or you can just watch these, so it's just, I don't know, there's something, this is gonna sound weird, there's something weirdly and maybe this speaks because hang on, I'm really fucking I got high yesterday, so this might have something to do with it. It's something so China's apparently a so-called communist country, right?
Mhm.
But it's the weirdest form of communism I've ever fucking seen. It's like hyper-capitalist. I don't think it counts as communist. It's something else, right? And it's weird. There's something about there's something extremely hyper-capitalist about putting out this endless torrent of fucking things for your mindless consumption. But at the same time, it feels there's something utilitarian about it as well, because do you know what I mean? I don't find it offensively, even though it's as soulless as like a Hollywood fucking thing. But there's something also a bit more, I don't know, I don't know.
A lack of pretension.
Yeah, this is something that obviously requires not just me spitballing as it comes into my brain, but you know.
So here's a question I've got: when did all the rats start looking like punk rockers? Because that definitely happens at some point. Because this is the second set of films now. We saw some of the ones from the last thing. Also, they start showing up with big mohawks.
With mohawks, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that because they're like rebels out. They're like outlaws out in the mountains in a hideout because they're criminals. So they can have Mohicans, right?
I suppose in a way that like Robin Hood and his merry men started getting a bit punky looking in the 80s as well.
Yeah. Oh, also that's the thing we didn't. That's the thing. Yeah, but that's the thing we didn't mention about this film is they've got that like sub boss. That's like the giant dude with the big chain.
Master Blaster. Out of fucking Bartertown. And actually we've also got Tina Turner in it too. Because she runs Bartertown in this, and then she's got Master Blaster working for her. And initially I was like, is that guy growing out of that guy's back? But then it seems like
I thought we were in a Total Recall.
Yes, the Total Recall is exactly where my mind went as well.
Yeah.
I think the crossover point from Rats to Punk was when I think Rat Scabies was the original.
That's
good. I like that. That was good. That was good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, well done, Clive. I think I don't think we're topping that for the rest of the show.
No.
Have either of you seen that Damned documentary that came out a few years? I can't remember.
No, I imagine it would be good fun.
Well, it's quite funny because it turns out there was when they were working. I can't remember which. It might have been Captain Sensible and one of the other ones working at some kind of fucking hotel or something as cleaners or something, and they'd take like cutlery from the kitchen and like use it to like slice turds because they were cleaning the toilets and they couldn't get rid of them, so they'd slice them up like sausages and then flush them away, and then of course put the cutlery back. Filthy buggers, them Damned. I mean, proper of all the punks, I think they were the
they were
snotty
I will see that actually offline. Tell me what it's called.
Right.
There's also there's a pangolin rat mentioned in this one, and I did think you should probably steer clear of that fucker because you're gonna get COVID.
I'm not aware of the connection between COVID and pangolins.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
I also love it when it's so adorable when Nick drops a joke and no one laughs.
I don't give a fuck.
I like it's very funny.
But yeah, no, it's.
Is that a wet market thing?
I'm pretty certain that was the initial belief was that it was from pangolins that were being bought.
Oh, I see.
I think what happens. This is a skill you acquire. I think if you become a teacher,
explaining
you learn to drop. You learn to drop these tumbleweed jokes, right?
Yes, and then you explain them. It's a teachable moment, Clive. Teachable moment.
Well, yes, you take your pipe out and okay, children, you may not have laughed. However, this is my opportunity.
Now you know the pangolins were COVID. Yes.
So
they were.
You're not laughing, you're learning.
Yeah. Pangolin Mary is now an arrow in my.
You
got
the laugh out of my joke, you prick. Yeah. So this is the urban myth. This is don't open the note until you're on your plane on the way home. Congratulations, welcome to the world of pangolin.
Um, all right.
I've got nothing more
I
to
am
say
also
about
thinking I'm
this
going to
film.
try and look at my notes. So I feel like I
Fucking
also have
dry.
nothing more to say about this.
I just realized that there's another connection there. Like that's the other way. That's the other urban myth. Is that, yeah, don't open it till you get in the plane, and then you take out, and there's photos of the staff with your toothbrushes up their ass.
Yes, yeah.
Members of the damned with your cut lips. Yeah, okay, so that brings us to the bonus section of our show.
Should we just say that was a Justice Bow movie that doesn't have Justice Bow in it? He makes
He's
well,
appearance
but
on
no.
holidays or something.
Yeah, but you don't have to have Justice Bow. If you've got Cat and Rat, it's okay.
Then you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, you don't want any old wrinklies destroying your handsome young man film.
That's true. Yes.
Exactly. They're not called brown wrinkly procedurals, are they? They're called pretty boy procedurals.
Yes. Brown wrinkly procedure is another channel.
That's Murder She Wrote, that is.
Yeah. Brown wrinkly movie of the way interrupted by Last of the Summer Wine dubbed into Mandarin.
That's it.
As long
okay.
as he wakes up at the end and the bath running down the hill isn't supernatural. All right.
That's it. But it can be supernatural until the end when you find out there's actually a motor under there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or it was Nora Batty's dream or something.
That's it. Right. Okay. Yeah. Clive's not allowed to review Ungrateful Tink until the end.
Okay.
Because he liked it. Because he liked it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
I thought you said you liked it.
No. That was the Invincible Constable 20.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
No,
okay.
Ungrateful Tink is it's when you gamble on something and it doesn't work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not. It didn't turn out to be like a hilarious shit show disaster.
Nope.
It's just.
Everyone's very tired. Everyone seems very tired and uninspired.
Yeah. And also somehow it looks like Clark's. Did anyone else get that? Like Clark's, Kevin Smith's Clark's.
No, I hadn't thought of that. But
no, the whole fucking time I was watching it, I was expecting Anthony Wong to try and get some fucking chewing gum out of a fucking store shutters.
It's funny.
It's just
I thought it seemed and felt more like, although like a very low energy and boring version of like Takashi Miike, like those.
Oh yeah,
the shot on video '90s kind of ones, like Fudo, except none of the fun, like
well, Fudo's a fucking blast, but yeah,
exactly. But this has, we had Frosted Tips dude, It all seemed very Yakuza adjacent kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
So so Ungrateful Tink, 1999, directed by Francis Nam, written, produced Tony Leung Hung-hwa, who's in it, and who's the guy. So I think Tony Leung, the same year as this, he directed Wicked Ghost.
Yeah.
Francis Nam directed the sequel, or the first sequel. Anyway. And so it's Anthony Wong and Michael Tao, or Michael Chiu Dai-yue. Michael Tao, we'll call him. And they're childhood friends who grew up. One became a corrupt cop. The other one became a very ambitious.
That's a 1940s Warner Brothers film, basically, right there.
Well, it's also every Hong Kong film from 1992 to fucking the present.
Plus, Anthony Wong was in most of them. And he's in this one. So you can tell why he's looking tired, because he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm doing this again. At least I get to wear a Beavis and Butthead t-shirt, but other than that.
And also a t-shirt that has all the kinds of dance music that you would want to see.
Yeah, I actually quite like that t-shirt.
Yes.
I would wear that t-shirt.
I think the Beavis and Butthead t-shirt was telling as well, because it says on it, I don't like stuff that sucks. And this... kind of,
on paper, the concept though. I mean, like you told me, you're going to watch a film that stars Anthony Wong as like Bad Lieutenant, I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it's not Bad
great.
Lieutenant enough, is it? It's
no.
it's
But
But
not
to be
even
fair,
close.
though,
Not even close.
Nick, this is slightly because you're not quite as well versed in this particular period of time.
Right.
So I think someone else's response to that, yeah, you're quite right. That does sound cool. However, the other person's response would be Anthony Wong playing Bad Lieutenant again, like, because he did
Right.
do quite a lot of this, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also it's like how does the film look cheaper than it actually is?
Yeah, it really does look like shit.
This film looks really fucking cheap, right?
Again, not as bad as some others of the same period. Right? Compared to them, I thought this looked, considering it was from a VCD as well, and VCDs are like they're probably the worst possible format. As printing your fucking movie on a cowpat. Like this rip did look a lot better than at least it didn't just shudder through the whole fucking thing.
Yes, that's true.
No, yeah, but I think it's meant to be grainy, so I think it's filmed to be because it's obviously filmed on some sort of celluloid, right?
Yes.
But it's filmed in that kind of way where it's, you know, we can only just afford film.
Right.
You know,
Cinema Verite, I think is
and yet
Fred Wiseman.
and yet in 1999 we can afford to have Anthony Wong in it. So the two things don't, from the get-go, the two things don't fucking mesh for me. Right? Anthony Wong, at this point in his career, would no doubt have demanded a decent lump of money. And yeah, okay, it's fine to say, oh well, they obviously spent all the money on Anthony Wong, but I don't think that's actually the case. I think that they just decided to go for this kind of grainy look and this kind of, you know, low down, scuzzy look, and just completely fucking failed at it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, sorry, that turned into a bit of a rant there.
That's fine. You're right.
No, we didn't like this film, did we?
No.
None of us did.
The only person I did like was Norman Lovett, who I think plays Frosted Tip's boss throughout the film, right?
I liked him. You don't often see
another Red Dwarf reference.
But you don't often see a Chinese actor, a Hong Kong actor, with the sort of the round the back hair and the no hair on top. You don't often see that haircut in Hong Kong, particularly gangster films. I can't think of a single person who's got that haircut.
And I feel like his world weariness works for some reason. It kind of, for whatever reason, it matches his.
I mean, I think if this was someone's first film, right, and Anthony Wong was throwing them a bone, right, and was a friend and had decided to be in their first film, right, this thing would have been a good advertisement for what someone can do later on. But that's just not the case, right? It's just like, this is, you know, these are established people who are making this film. They're making the film with established actors. And it's, what's it for? You know,
it's all very tight. Bring anything new and very secondhand.
There's also a scene that is that which zombie movie score is that suddenly shows up when Anthony Wong is sitting in the van and they get the camera out and they're trying to force him to make a confession of the money he owes. They start either Fabio Frizzi or the Goblin score from Dawn of the Dead. It's one of the two, and it's really
it felt like Frizzi, but it wasn't one of the Fulci ones. I think it was one of his. It was something else he's done.
I thought it might be if it wasn't. I thought it might be City of the Walking Dead, maybe Gates of Hell.
City of the Living Dead. It might have been. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah.
Anyway,
it is that sort of thing. Yeah.
In the cast, I was quite happy to see Samuel Lung pre Category 3 perv days. He was, if you remember, we saw him in Forbidden Legend, Sex and Chopsticks. He's the very skinny, lanky gangster dude. He's in some of the Raped by an Angel sequels. Like he's really good at being like a horrible fucking perv.
Oh yeah, no, it's and there's
where you see him in stuff like this before he got that, and it's like, yeah, no, they haven't found the right place for him. Yeah,
yeah. He hasn't found his knee. He hasn't found his cubby hole.
He hasn't found his little crack to hide in.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this film annoyed the fuck out of me because it looked like it should have been from the fucking 70s. Or at least fucking 1990, 92 or something. Yeah, and it's apparently from 99.
Like you said, it's not scuzzy enough for what it's...
When's it set, too? Because they keep making reference to, things are going to change in 1997. Repeatedly, like you Royal Constabulary or whatever, you're gonna be a world of pain.
Plus as well, so we should probably address the almost only just avoids it by accident racist title, right?
Yes.
So the character's talking about you wait until 97 and all that, but as far as I could tell in the opening flashback, I thought there would be a bit more of a, and maybe it's because it's playing to local audience, so it's obvious or something that they don't have to. I'm assuming both the Anthony Wong and Michael Tao characters are supposed to be either from the mainland or second generation. Right. I'm guessing that's the inference. Right.
Okay.
Is that they're the ungrateful tink of the title, right? And plus, when they say things like wait until 1997 and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So but when you're saying
spelled out,
no. Right? But when you're saying tink, what do you mean? What do you mean?
I don't mean anything, Darren. I'm just saying the name of.
No. I want to get the etymology sorted out.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's one of those phrases that, for instance, racist people in the West just use it, meaning Chinese people in general, right? It's a racist synonym for Chinese people. But I think in Hong Kong, you can use it for racist people in Hong Kong can use it for mainlanders.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Yes,
a good analogy because it's less offensive nowadays is, for instance, in the UK, we say Yanks to mean all Americans, whereas in America, Yank is a specific north-south thing, right?
Yeah. Well, I looked up the British etymology of tink because obviously it sounds like something.
Yes, it's handy actually, isn't it? It's handy if the film has the title because that means we can kind of discuss it without being really racist every film.
But I thought, well, what happens if I Google tink etymology, right? Turns out it is a slur in English.
What, with the T?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
we
relates.
Are being racist. Hooray!
Yeah, we are actually being racist.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this is why I brought it up. But it refers to Romany people. So tink as in tinker.
Oh, tinkers. Okay, which is in Ireland what they definitely was used.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we're going as well. But that would still sort of jive with the non-Hong Kongness of those two orphans, white hair and black hair. That would still kind of jive with maybe dark-skinned foreigner coming over here with your job stealing,
Well, it's interesting as well because I recently discovered from an Australian friend of mine that the racist term wog is used in a totally different way there.
Really?
Yeah. I won't go into it here.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But it is
So it's still bad, is what you're saying.
Yeah. No, it's not a.
Sorry, I thought there might be.
No,
I thought that
no.
word might have been used in a
But
different
it's
context,
applied
and
to
it
a
was
very
in communist
specific,
state.
different group of people.
Oh, okay.
Than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but it's still not
okay.
good. No.
Yeah.
no,
So
no.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, the Tinker thing is kind of and amazing to this day. Even modern days productions of Peter Pan, they still refer to Tinkerbell, which is disgusting, really, because that's the thing. Her real name's Annabelle, right? But she comes from a traveling family, so Peter Pan's Peter Pan's a nickname for her is Tinkerbell, so it's actually derogatory. No,
And
that's
it's like Tinker Tinker Lucky Star. You know, I mean, it's like. Or Tinker Tinker Little Star, you know, how I wonder what you are. I mean, that's fucking. Why do they allow kids to sing that?
Yeah.
You know, it's terrible, really.
Yeah. Right. Good spot to end it there.
That fell very flat indeed.
See you next time.
My apologies.
Well, I think the last thing I'd like to say about this film is it kills off who appears to be the main character about every 20 minutes. And definitely
Anthony Wong is obviously the main character.
The character, right? But there's other important characters who you think the film's kind of going to follow this person's trajectory or whatever, and then it just kills them.